Should I get a meat grinder or KitchenAid food processor? Maybe. And if you guys have one at home, I would say you're pretty lucky. Hey Yaki Gang, Yakitori guy here. Along with the chicken breakdown and the tare making, here comes the other most requested yakitori topic since the start of this channel. It's not a binchotan video, it's a skewer. Can you guys guess what it is? Today we're making tsukune, meatballs made from ground chicken. I waited a while to make the tsukune video, mainly because there really isn't one way to make tsukune. Similar to the tare making where every shop has their unique tare, the tsukune too, every shop has their unique methods of making their tsukune. And so if you have seen any previous videos or recipes of tsukune and it's different from the way I make it, neither is right or wrong. It's just individual styles or methods that's been passed down the shop or that just shows a characteristic of that master. For example, one shop that I worked at, Kushiyaki Anchor, the master will order pre-ground chicken mix from our local butcher. We'll add in chopped onions, chopped cartilage, and some spices and hand knead them and squeeze them into balls, which he would then steam them half cooked. And I would take those half-cooked steam balls and add them to skewers, and then we grilled them. So 3 balls to a skewer. Now, on the other hand, at Yakitori Moe West, I was in charge of running the food processor or the meat grinder, taking all the daily trimmings from the yakitori of the day. It'll be some skin, thigh, cartilage, and we'll make our own ground chicken parts right there. And I will pass that on to Yakitori Baka where he would hand knead them into logs. So at one place we had pre-steamed balls and another place it's logs. And at Yakitori Moe West, the tsukune actually changed monthly, seasonally. One time it was just plain tsukune, another time it was that tsukune but wrapped in caul fat netting. So although both items at the 2 shops were definitely tsukune on the menu, made from the ground chicken, the similarities and differences was really like comparing meatloaf to hamburger to spaghetti meatballs. As I dive deeper in my research into yakitori shops in Japan, I soon discovered so much more shop-by-shop variations when it came to tsukune. For example, just even the meat choices. Some places it might just be all thigh meat, it might be a combination of thigh meat, cartilage, neck meat, wings, maybe a little bit of breast, some skin, some fat. Just so much variation just even in that ground chicken. But in addition to all the choices of meat that's used, there's also variations among the basic components that go into tsukune. So for example, for the flavors, the spices, some shops might use soy sauce, some maybe salt, some miso for the saltiness. Then there might be use of peppers, white pepper, black pepper, sansho, Japanese peppercorn. And for maybe the citrus notes or sort of the herbal floral notes, you have dried yuzu or yuzu zest. And there's even a shop that uses English tea to just sort of add that floral note, the herbal note to their tsukune. And then you also need some sort of crunch in your tsukune. So from whole onions, perhaps some green onions or cartilage. And then for the ground chicken to come together, you need binding agent. So a binding agent could either be katakuriko, so potato starch, maybe some panko, or you could even use the miso as a binding agent, or egg. It could be a whole egg or maybe just the egg yolk. So every shop just has different variations of even just the components along with the meat, all the components that you need for tsukune to come together. So many variations. All right, so let's go ahead and take some of these parts and make some tsukune yakitori today. The main component of tsukune is the ground chicken. Traditionally, you'll use the trimmings from making yakitori. However, you can still use the pre-ground mix from the store. This is Mary's Chicken 80-20 mix. As a general observation, I've noticed that if a shop has tsukune on the menu, however, rest of the menu items very simple, such as just breast skewers, thigh skewers, wing skewers, it's most likely they're not breaking down a whole chicken, and therefore they're not gonna have all these extra trimmings, cartilage, fat, whatnot. So they're probably using the pre-ground chicken. And there's really nothing wrong with using the pre-ground chicken. However, the kodawari shops, they're gonna use the trimmings from the whole chicken. That way they can really control how much cartilage to put in, how much fats to put in, how much skins to put in. So I definitely wanna show you guys that today. This is about a pound combination of thigh meat, skins, some cartilage. You can see some Achilles tendons right here from the drumstick. And so to make ground chicken from the trimming, the easiest way is to use a food processor or a motorized meat grinder. However, not everyone has a room for one, like me. And so I will take these trimming and resort to basically chopping them up, manually mincing them. So you want to take a knife that you don't care much about. So I'm using this cheap cleaver from the Asian market, and we're gonna go to chopping. And as we chop, just even sort of that sliding cutting action can help, but you gotta go real hard. And then you might just have to start really putting your whole body and weight into it. Especially if you find a lot of bigger pieces that you wanna just get through. Just gotta keep on chopping. It's the Yakitori workouts. Yeah, just chop, chop. And then if you have another knife that you don't really care about, double chop. Should I get a meat grinder or KitchenAid food processor? Maybe. And if you guys have one at home, I would say you're pretty lucky. Every so often, you just want to scoop it up, fold it over, so you can start cutting different areas. Crunchy here, that's all the cartilage and the Achilles tendon, perhaps some skin. Just the really harder parts. So there's still some parts like this, the skin, chunky big, so I want to be able to manually just cut those, make them smaller. Might have to go into that cutting motion. Just whatever you can eyeball to make sure there's no big chunks. Rotate it around. It just gets very sort of sticky like this. You know, it's good. It's all the fats. All right, it's been going at this for about, looks like maybe 10 minutes. Pretty much almost done, just making sure there's not big chunks. Some chunks are okay. You want that bite, you want that cartilagey, tendony bite when you get into that tsukune. But pretty much this is minced up. Very sticky because of all the fats from the thigh and also the skin parts. So it's gonna be good tsukune. All right, so from all that chopping, I have about a pound of ground chicken, skin, cartilage, thigh, got some green onions, some miso, egg, and some salt. So this is just one stalk of green onions, the egg, yolk and white, a little sprinkle of salt. Then I would say good, maybe just teaspoon of miso. Not much more, it's gonna get very salty. And let's go ahead and just mix this up. So for me, this miso and the egg, and then just the fats in here. That's sort of the binding agent of this. And the green onion is just to add a little bit of that, the nice crispness to this tsukune. Sometimes I have done yuzu flakes in here. I've also done some sansho, but this is the tsukune that I've been making more recently. Just kind of keeping it simple with just egg, miso, green onion, and salt. Don't want to overpower the meat too much. There's still chunks of miso in here, so I'm trying to just make sure that that's spread out evenly. So you might have to mix it for a while, but you're getting it really this sort of gooey stretchiness. That's what's gonna keep it all together. So as I'm mixing this up, definitely get this smell of the miso and then the green onions. So that's the sort of the highlight of the flavors of this one right here. Just gonna keep on mixing it. Just checking to see if there's any miso blocks or chunks. But I don't see any, so I think this might be ready to go. So it looks pretty good. So next thing, I'm gonna make this into tare, or basically balls, individual balls. I use my scooper for that. Masters who make tsukune, they have a feel for the perfect even sizes, but I found that using an ice cream scoop really gives me a better rough idea of how much to scoop per tsukune. So this is making the tare, or just a portion of the tsukune. I have a little bit more left, so let me just go ahead and try to add it to the other ones. Kind of smooth it out with my hands. So as you guys can see, it's a little bit sort of sticky, gooey, stretchy right now. It's because it's a little bit warm. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge for at least 15 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes to tighten it back up a bit. So right here, I have my tare, or basically sort of the seed or the balls, ready to be skewered. This is in the fridge for maybe about 30 minutes. You can leave it there a little bit longer. It's just gonna help basically dry out a bit, and all the oils and the fats, it's gonna settle down a bit, making it easy to skewer. And for the skewering, I'm gonna be using today the hiragushi, meaning the flat skewer. This is nice and flat, has a lot of surface area for the tsukune to stick on. Now, however, if you guys have maybe the paddle skewers or the round skewers, you can also just use 2 of these and they'll sort of be the same width of the hiragushi. Now, there are also some shops that use wooden chopsticks that you get at restaurants. These also work well as a nice tsukune skewer. A lot of surface area for the tsukune to bind on. Go ahead and start skewering. Now, I like to wet my hands with water. Definitely have heard about maybe using oil, but just water just helps it from not sticking onto hands. Now, 2 ways to skewer this. You can stick the skewer inside the middle and then sort of knead it, wrap it down, pulling it here and making sure there's no gaps. For example, there's a hole that opened up right here, so I want to close it out. Now my hands are starting to get a little bit sticky, so I'm just going to use my water and just help it sort of coat it a bit. Make it really smooth on all sides, so kind of doing sort of a spinning action. You can do up and down action. And so the other method is actually more flattening it out and then using the skewer. Think of it as maybe taco or hot dog, and then you wrap it around. I personally find this wrapping method a little bit better for me to get a nice sort of even center. It's already in this log sort of shape. And at this point too, it's really nice if you can sort of get the air out. Squeeze it, get that air out. So as I said, maybe stick it in and then you can stretch it, pull it down. Hands are getting sticky, so just gonna wet it, really let it stretch out a bit. I said earlier, just get all that air out, get it nice, really compress it in, do the hot dog method. Now that I'm basically warming it up with my hand though, fat's getting much stickier. And then you want to kind of leave some of the top out in case you're going to do putting it on the rods method. Let's go ahead and try to do the 2 skewer right here. So we'll grab 2 of these, stick in the middle, sort of lightly squeeze. If you squeeze it too hard to get the round, the smooth shape, smooth out any of the gaps. So we don't want any gaps here, so we're just smoothing it out. Then let's try to see what happens if we use 2 of these round ones. Really just trying to get all that air out. Now I got this all on there. And right here, you can try to sort of fix it while on this tray. Shape it a little bit better in this tray. So after handling this with my wet hand and it's a little bit warm, basically the oils are coming out of here again. So I want to do one more round of making them tighter by putting it in the fridge for maybe about 15-30 more minutes, and that's just gonna get everything tight again. I was just nicely rotating it and getting that even. Easy to do 2 at once. On the grill, the smell of tare, you heat it up, caramelizing. Dip the tsukune into the egg yolk. It's really good.